what you do. You got 0 points. I really do much.
Okay. I just want to look at this stat line. Oh, this was the final game. This was different. Okay, as I always do, I give honor to God first before I do anything. You know that. And today was an interesting game, very interesting. You know, I give my hats off to Wright State because they tried some things out there, and running 5 guards and all that. It's hard to guard. You don't want to go away from what you do, even though they put all that out there. But at one point, we had to go away from what we do just to make sure we keep these guys in front of us because they were great drivers. We had 2, in my estimation, outstanding games. Anton was unbelievable inside. They couldn't handle him in there. And he was going up against a 6'10" kid, and he could score on him whenever he had will. I thought he was doing a great job. And Charlie had one of his phenomenal games. You know, he controlled the tempo, and he hit the free throws, and he hit big shots. And everybody else contributed and did a good job. But probably the biggest thing when you look at this stat line, I look back, when you shoot 61%, I mean, it's hard for anybody to beat you at that case. But when the opposition shoot 54, you really kind of feeling bad about that.
Questions for Anton and Charlie?
At 92 in the league, you guys are off to your best start since your freshman year. And you were 92. Can you talk about that?
92 what?
9 and 2.
Oh, 9 and 2. Okay.
Born in 92.
We just trying to stay focused and just win games. That's all. We not really concerned about our record right now and trying to stay on top of the league. We just trying to go in and prepare for each game like we do in practice and do it in the game and try to come out and win.
Coach, you emphasized recently that you didn't want the team taking so many threes, and you built a considerable lead early without them. Pretty pleased with how that went?
Oh, yes. When I look at this stat line and see only 10, I feel joy. and it was funny, in the locker room we talked about this. We said we only took 10 threes, and all the players said, and Trey took all 10.
Anton, when the going got tight in the second half and they trimmed it to 4, the next few possessions they banged it into you and you scored. Were you calling for the ball? Was that the play call, or did the guards just say, okay?
Got to feed our horse. Got to feed him. Got to give it to him inside. They was too little.
Well, how does it feel, Anton, to be able to answer like that in what was in a very tight game?
It was just playing off my teammates and playing with confidence. They put me in positions to get the ball, and they made good entry passes. One I made a nice catch on and finished it, but it was just my teammates looking for me just doing my part by finishing it.
Was this as good as you felt physically since your freshman year?
Yeah, I think this is my best offseason since I've been here. The things that Tim and Max, we made a game plan, so after every game and after every practice, we do certain things to make sure that my legs are still feeling good. So they're on top of me, and they've been doing a great job with it. And coaching practice. I'm going to leave that out.
Yeah, we didn't cut practice an hour out of our practice.
They've been working 9 and 2.
Charlie, how about when he's forced to the bench with 4 fouls, you guys are up 7. When he comes back in, you're up 13. Can you talk about what you guys did to keep pushing when Anton was on the bench?
Really just try to attack the basket. It was 5 guards against 5 guards out there for like 5 or 6 minutes. So we just try to stay in front of defense and move the ball and get to the basket on offense.
Anton, you had a lot of balls down low, but you had one was your own putback, and then late in the game you got a late rebound and put up a shot and got to the line. Talk about that extra extending possessions.
It was just trying to put our team in the best position to win the game. And I'm not gonna lie, I knew I'd have a lot of rebounds, so I was trying to get a couple more rebounds. But I was trying to help our team win the game, and just put us in a better position.
Coach, you know, when Anton went to the bench, that's a point where games could be lost if you guys don't answer.
Right.
What did you learn about your team at that point when he's on the bench and you guys push it, not just hold it, but push it?
Well, you know, I'm going to tell you something that's going to kind of shock you. I really wasn't overly concerned when he went to the bench at that time. What my concern was is that we stopped them from penetrating. That's all my thought was. And because I thought the thing they couldn't do was stop us at the other end. regardless who we had in the game. If you remember, at the end of the first half, we had all guards, and we could still score every possession. So I didn't expect. I thought we could score, but we had to get them stopped in order to make a lead and make a run. And you know, and I had suggestions from my coaches. They indicated to me to. They kept hollering, Coach, we need to change up, do something. And we talked, and then Larry said to me, Coach, can we try the amoeba? You know, and that's our zone. And I was hesitant because I didn't want number 13 to run around and hit threes. And then I just, you know, I gave in. I said, okay, we're gonna play some zone. And at the end, I thought that was the key. We did the exact same thing down there. We played the zone against them then. And I thought it controlled the tempo of the game at that time. But this time, you know, I thought it really did a good job on them.
Jerry, 600 games. Any other question for Anton or Charlie? We can get them out of here. Yeah, hey Charlie, a game like today, 27 points. Do you know you're there, or are you just playing the next play?
Just playing. To be honest, I don't get caught up in the points and all that. I just be playing, and whatever the defense give me, I take.
Charlie, you had a good run at the foul line, but they took one away. Talk about what happened in that situation where you put one in, the referees called it back.
No, we still got.
Yeah, they gave it back to me.
I mean, that free throw didn't count, but he still had 2 free throws.
I know, but he made one that you know.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they said he was subbing
No,
in
go sub me in. Go
first.
sub me in.
You didn't lose one, but he had to make an extra one to get this.
Right.
I was gonna make it though. I wasn't gonna miss no free throws today.
When you're driving your little floater shot, is that one that you sort of modeled after anybody, or is that just something that came naturally?
I gotta use it. I'm only 5'8". I got to. We work on it every day in practice too, so can't do nothing else. Just shoot it, a floater.
Anton, you've talked about this over the past couple of games, being in championship mode, and now you've got the 3-game sweep of for the homestand. How do you feel that this sweep has kind of built your momentum up, kind of for next week with Detroit, and then soon after that?
Well, it's really big because at the beginning of the year, our goal was to make sure we go undefeated at home in conference play. So we've been taking care of that. So now we got to go on the road, and we have to win a big game at Detroit that we really have to focus on and have the right mindset going into there.
Anything else for these two? All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
All right, coach.
Take care, Joey.
Jerry, 600 games coaching today.
Man, that means I'm getting old here. 600 games, that's a lot of games.
Yeah, it is.
You know, just to be a part of that. And when you think about 600 games, you think about all the people that has been a part of you during those 600 games, not just the coaches, the players, and everybody. And it's, you know, it's a great feeling to feel that you can get that far. To give you an example, I haven't told anybody this, but the NCAA called me, and they're going to give me an award called the Master Coach. And the person that nominated me for it, he's a friend. I know him from the past, good coach. He was a great coach and everything. And I called him on the phone, and I said, hey, man, thanks for all this. And he said, yeah, coach, I thought of you first. I said, why? Because you done lasted time. I said, well, wait, you said I'm just an old man still playing, coaching this game? He said, well, you know, so many coaches have been through this and can't get to this point, and you've done that. And that, you know, that makes you feel good. And, you know, and I'm going to tell you, it's only because of the Lord. He's been in my life. He's made it possible. He's given me health. He's given me all these things that you don't normally have.
You've had some good teams along the way. What characteristics does this team have of some of your other good teams, or the teams that win when it counts?
Well, it didn't show today, but this team is usually a pretty good defensive team. and with that, I don't feel we're ever out of a game. Prime example, we played at Louisville. I never thought we were out of that game because we could defend them. Same thing at VCU. I never thought we were out of that game because we could defend them. Now, the offense goes away sometime. I don't know where it goes. It flies around. But when we get both things going at once, we're a pretty tough team.
Coach, during the second half, especially when Wright State was really shooting well, was that, you know, just them getting hot or execution?
No, we had some breakdowns because we had just hit a bucket. and we were telling them who was guarding who, and then 13 is standing in the corner wide open. I mean, I was really livid on that. I mean, I was upset because you don't make a bucket and they come back and hit a three. I can understand if you miss a bucket and they get a rebound, they get in transition and find somebody and they hit a three. But, our matchups were kind of mixed up at that time, and I was really frustrated in the huddle at that. And it happened 2 times because 13 had another bucket that he was open, and we had to understand that this kid was the shooter of their team. Those other guys were drivers, so we had to make sure that we try to stay off the drivers but crowd this guy, and we kind of broke down a little bit. I thought as the game went on, we got a better understanding what they had to do, and our adjustments I thought went well.
I looked up with 8, 9 minutes to go. They had 5 guys on the floor who were all in double figures. What were they doing right in terms of their spreading the ball around?
Right, driving that ball. And, we pressure. So probably the best thing to do is drive, okay? But the way our defense is built, our help doesn't come from another guard. Our help comes from the post guys. And when they were sitting on the bench and they're all in foul trouble, it's hard to really help the guards against that penetration. And they did a great job of penetrating us.
Coach, what makes Charlie special?
There's so many things, but I'm going to give you this one thing that I think makes him special. He's about team. He really is the epitome of team. He doesn't care about if he hits a point. He don't care. He wants to win the game and our team to be successful. Now, you see him hit shots and do things like that because he has those abilities. But as a person and a player, he's a God gift to help you as a team member. And he picks them up. He's unbelievable at this. In the early going of the year, when we struggled in some games, even though we were playing them, we were in them with chances to win and everything, we just didn't have Charlie in there to get us over the hump. And then he came back, and it took him about 3 games to really get in the flow with everyone. But after he got in the flow, I knew that he could lead his team to where he needed them to go. It's just like football. Think about it. If that quarterback doesn't lead the group and do the things they have to do, it's not very good. And now to take that quarterback out, take you watch the Super Bowl, take both of those quarterbacks out, there's no game. And that's the same thing with Charlie Lee. When you got a good quarterback and a good leader out on the floor, it really changes the outcome of any game. Because, see, what happens on a team, you got a group of guys here, which are guards, and you got a group of guys here, which are post guys. They all want the ball. And somebody's got to keep them happy. And Charlie, in the midst of this, will try to keep them all happy.
Coming down the stretch, no midweek game this week. How does that help you? And
we need that rest. That's going to really help us. Because we've been playing a lot of games that I don't call them back to back, but they were in close proximity, so it was hard to really get them off their legs. For instance, like this game here, the first day we came back, I had the other guys practice, but I didn't have Charlie, Trey, and Anton practice. I had them shoot free throws. That's all I had them do. And the primary reason why, because in that game against Youngstown, they were running. Youngstown was running up and down that floor. And I tell you, it's funny, going back to that game in the first half, the first 10 minutes, there was no stoppage. And they were constantly running back and forth. And I knew my guys were tired. I knew they were tired. And someone said to me, why don't you call a timeout? Because I looked at their guys, and they were even more tired. And I looked at their big guy, and I knew if I could take him out right then, the game was over. And literally, he had no more legs after that. I knew it was over. I told our guys in the huddle, I said, hey, we done ran him down. And I called the timeout to end it because I wanted to get those guys out and give them a little rest. But I knew that guy was over with. And when our guys can do that, I think it's a good situation.
When you come back and play Detroit on the 13th,
woo, man, I don't even want to think about that.
There's going to be 15 days left in the regular season, 6 games, 5 in the league. It's winning time. It's theoretically it's what every team wants, where every team wants to be at the middle of February. Are you nervous, excited, surprised, all of the above?
I don't get nervous at these things. Am I excited? Not overly excited. But what I do want to do is we want to finish strong. Because we done been in this place maybe 4 times. 4 times that we've had this same case scenario. The one year, if you remember, we were up 2 games going into this. And then we lost key player, but, you know, I can't use that as an excuse. What I can say is we've had multiple lineups now, so you can use different people now to help you in games, and that's going to help them in the long run because that gives us more numbers.
Gary, what do you think Anton has learned from all the knee surgeries?
Well, he's learned to pace himself, and sometimes the coach get pissed at that because, you know, you want him to go hard every minute, but he's learned, and I understand it. He has to pace himself out there. If he does not, he'll tear down quickly, and he's doing that. He knows when to pick it up and when to bring it back down because he's still playing 30 minutes a game, and it's just great to see him running up and down the floor. Many of you didn't see him in this room when he was a freshman. I thought he was going to dominate this league, how athletic he was and how he was moving. And it was just hard. I remember we played Green Bay at their place. I mean, he just literally took them apart with 27 points and just 18 rebounds. I said, oh, man, what do we got here? And then the knees. And ever since, he's never been whole. I mean, when I say he has never – no, that's incorrect. When that season ended, he had the operation, and he really rehabbed in the summer, and he came back and ready to go again. And when we started the year – because I think we started out like 5-1, and he was really dominating in there. And then he went down. And from that point on, he's had struggles with his knees. And now, you know, and I got to give our trainer, I got to give our strength coach, they've really put in the time with him each and every day. You know, Max coming from the Cavaliers, he's really helping us. I mean, there's a lot of good things that's going on with this team that allows it to take what you see, the steps that they're taking.
Seems like, too, he has all these post moves and things I don't remember him having.
No, he didn't have those. You know, he didn't. He's getting better at it, and every day he works on it to get better.
Coach, speaking of different matchups and getting different guys in, what did you think of how Vinny and Marlon played when they were sort of the big guy out there when Anton was out tonight?
I thought Vinny started the game off very strong. I thought he did a very good job to start off. Marlon, see, I'm still trying to get Marlon's win and everything back because this is just game 2. He's back. So, and I expect him some things to go wrong. But I thought they did a great job. I mean, it's hard to guard midgets running around. It really is. I'm telling you, it's hard. and they did a great job. And what it's called is small ball. Mm-hmm. They did a great job with small ball. And see, we're usually the ones that run small ball. Mm-hmm. We'll put a big guy in there and have other guys run around there. But they ran it, and they did a great job. Now, the reason why they did such a great job, because they have worked on it constantly. You know, we don't work on guarding, because we only got maybe 2 other guards in practice. So we don't work on it. We usually be going against bigger guys. So it was really a hard thing.
Any other questions?
Yeah, Coach, like both Youngstown State and Wright State, you know, they have losing records in the conference, but they both had decent, you know, pre-season or out-of-conference record. What do you attribute that to? This
no, they're pretty good teams.
I know this being a tougher and tougher league as the years go by, or what?
Well, see, I think Wright State you're discounting. I think that Wright State can win 5 of their next 6 games. 4 of them are at home. I think they can win, and they can. See, they did this last year. They were struggling at a point because they had injuries like they have now, and they came on strong at the end, and they got in the tournament play and went all the way to the finals. So you got to really watch them because they have the ability to do those kind of things. Youngstown, they're just young. They're trying to find themselves. They're young. I mean, they only got 1 senior, and so they're trying to figure it out. But they're still one of the better offensive teams in our league. And now, what do I mean by that? You know, Youngstown, when they were at full strength, they could play in the non-conference and beat teams because they were at full strength. Youngstown was a good offensive team, and when you play early in the preseason, nobody's playing any offense. You're trying to find yourself. That's why you see these high majors getting upset because no one is that far advanced in the early going like that. And they were advanced on the offensive end. I mean, they're averaging 73 points a game. And, I think what's happening in our league is we got 4 teams that are really dominant teams. And then we got a 5th and 6th that can really play against you. and that's Detroit and the other. And we go to Detroit the next game. They're the most, in my estimation, the most talented team in our league. So we got to face that. We got to deal with that. But as a whole, I think this league has taken a big step this year and hasn't gotten the credit that it deserves. You know, what Valpo has done, and, you know, both Valpo and Green Bay in one more game be at 20 wins. That tells you how good this league is.
Last game, you said, after Marlin and Yates had good games, you said you were gonna reevaluate the bench situation. They had a good game again off the bench. Are they gonna remain off the bench?
I got to figure all that out. You know, every time I see Marlon, he's looking at me. Hey, Coach, when I'm going to start? When I'm going to start? And, you know, and the funny thing at practice, we started, I put the unit, I say, okay, green team out, and here's Yates running out there in the first. I said, oh, you sit back, Yates. He's going in. I mean, they still think they're out there. So I want them to have that intensity to still want to be out there and play. But, you know, I got to figure it out. I mean, you know, our depth with those two coming off the bench has increased.
Interesting game for Yates, the only Dayton guy on your team. First time around, he hit the big shot for you, but was 1 for 6. Today, he really played well offensively.
But he's been playing better since he's been back.
Wright State, we're talking the Dayton area.
Oh, yeah. He's been playing better since he's been back. He's literally, I think, and maybe it is because he was hurt, he really worked on his shot, and he's hitting his shot. He can hit that shot pretty easy now. And our last 2 games did the same thing. I'm hoping this is real, you know, so it'll last much longer.
Thanks, Coach. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Oh, man, you got the stuff.
We have another question.